Welcome to CREATE+CO podcast. Hope you enjoy my interview today with our client and CEO of Questmont Virtual Family Office, Taylor Rinker. So Taylor, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
Actually, thank you for having me in
Good
your
point.
space today. Right. So we're here at your new office at Questmont, and you just finished the space. So we're going to talk a little bit.
No. You just finished the space.
Well,
CREATE+CO rocked it. Sorry.
You came in and gave your personal touches.
We did.
Too.
We
So
put a little bit of touch on it.
I think we did a good job of doing it.
I
together.
love it.
Yeah.
My team loves
it. Good. Well, let's start a little bit about you first, because I want to know, just kind of from the heart, how proud you have become of Questmont, everything you've built here. And I know built encompasses a lot of things, right? It's the physical space that you've built, it's the community that you've built, and it's the clients that you have built all of this with them in mind, right?
Yep.
So tell me what you're most proud about, or there are a couple things that you're just super proud of.
Survival.
Yes.
The business has been afoot for 30 years, so it's had 3 iterations, Tampa being the most happy, the most recent. But the firm itself, I would have to say, I'm a creative person. I used to love to paint pictures, not houses. And so we have a panache to everything we do, which is very important. I consider myself the great aggregator. I'm definitely not a finance bro. So I like that we have this panache. For example, even the name Questmont actually translates to your life's quest for its own peak. That's what it means.
Love that.
The other thing I would say that's become very important is what we've kind of become known for, or absolutely become known for, is taking extreme ownership of our clients' concerns and problems. They tell us that, and sometimes more than they do, right? So we have to temper ourselves. But those would be the things.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, because they need the care, right? I mean, that is the whole idea of you creating this family office environment, right? And tell me a little bit about the difference between advisory, like the normal advisory model, and what you created here, right? It's something a little bit more personal. Like you said, it's more relationship based. And so what is it really that's
a big question,
sets you apart?
So when we actually do the research, and by the way, this is a genuine family office service, right? That's become a popular label, and it's BS. A lot of firms are saying they do it, but don't deliver it.
So can you, just real quick, can you dispel the myth? What's the myth buster on that? What's the real definition of a family office?
So part of the challenge is there isn't a formal one. We have a saying in the industry, if you've seen one family office, you've seen one family office, right? So the concept is pretty simple, though. It's a coordinated experience.
Okay.
So we refer to ourselves as a virtual family office. And what that means is we bring the best, we are responsible, accountable, bring the best experts in lifestyle and finance to all of our clients in a truly coordinated fashion. It's really friggin' hard to do. Let's say, for example, Kristina, if they show up and they already have a good team of CPAs or attorneys, we have to plug in with that team.
Right.
If they don't, we have to have a vetted expert to fill that. So the firm, every single client here has a truly different team. Think about that.
Very unique. Yeah.
Very unique. And that's a hard thing to collaborate. And so bottom line is, when we do research, and we do quite a bit of research on the clients, what they're really telling us is we really just want a coordinated experience. And I can tell you that's not happening. Again, the research, here's an example. So I think it's 79% of wealthy families want charitable advice. The CPA industry, my industry, claims they do it, but less than 7% claim that they're actually receiving that advice from their advisors. But it's not coordinated.
No, it's not.
I think it's 89 point something percent of wealthy investors want proactive tax planning advice. And again, my industry and the CPA industry claims they do it. But then when we do the research, only 24.8% of the wealthy families and business owners are actually receiving that. So there's a giant gap.
That's a huge gap.
So I don't want to get on my soapbox. Actually, I do want to get on my soapbox.
No, you can get on the soapbox.
But don't let me
That's
too
what
much.
We're here for.
So one of the things we had talked about was, how did the concept for Questmont, where did it come from? And the truth is that I was pissed off, right? I was pissed off. We have this concept we call the doctor versus the drug dealer. You went to your doctor, Kristina, and you found out that they were actually a pharmaceutical rep. How would you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't trust them.
Well, that's my industry. If the advisor works for one of those big name firms, well, let's see, they have their own products, they have their own funds, they have their own internal in-house goodies. Well, isn't it magical that the client ends up in their goodies, right? So that is not defending the client. that is serving the institution, right? And so our industry, in my opinion, is very, very skewed to protect the industry. So
Gotcha.
we've gone to great lengths to have a structure where we have the boutique, so that's our actual team. And we have a national family office network. And so they work with all sorts of clients, billionaires, people who have single family offices, business owners, CPAs. And then we import that intel back to our clients. And then we are also integrated with a multi-trillion-dollar trust company.
Okay.
But we're accountable to the client only. So in many cases, the financial advisor is in fact really the drug dealer. They have a product they must peddle. We actually call it the business card litmus test. I can look at a wealth advisor's business card and tell you in 5 seconds where their conflicts lie. So that prompted me. Plus, I am an entrepreneur and business owner who's been trying to build something, I guess, in some ways that would affect me,
Right.
that we would understand. And it does exist more now, but it didn't exist for the most part of the industry. So we went down this family office path beginning about 15 years ago.
Okay. That's quite a while.
I didn't say we did it great or well, but we started down the path. So now we do. But it was a learning curve because it was sort of like a couple of blind folks with canes trying to feel your way around the room, and there wasn't a guidebook.
Yeah. But that just shows that you're a trailblazer in that industry. If there's no guidebook already, right? You're learning how to do it because you're basing it on the client's needs.
Yep.
And it's a very bespoke
It is very
strategy.
bespoke. Yep.
So I feel like that's kind of like us, right? We're the little guys. We're the boutique firm, but we have very strong ethos of what services we have to offer. And we stay small on purpose, which I think you do too,
Yep.
because we want to make sure that the level of care goes all the way through the organization. And I think like you too, the bigger guys, there's a value in that. And some clients just want to go to the bigger guys,
Yep.
right? Because they have the name.
It's safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
And same with us. There's some of the bigger guys and they're all great out there. But if you want
No,
that
they're not.
personalized,
No, they're not.
if you want that
I know we
personalized
interviewed
white
them.
grub,
No, they're not. I'm going to brag. Can I just blatantly, unabashedly brag? So I said we're known for extreme ownership. I realized through this process there are two things that Create & Co have that we love. One is the extreme ownership. It is evident to the last piece of carpet, to the last how a painting is hung, that Create & Co takes ownership of that project to the bitter end. And then the other thing is we have a motto at home, and my son would hate me for saying this, but he'd say it: if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well.
Absolutely.
Like every morning I make the bed, and I don't just make it, I make it well.
Mm-hmm.
And my philosophy is that I had one victory that day. I did one thing well. If the day goes to shit, I did one thing well. And you guys exude that. So I'm just going to use that.
Thank you so much. I didn't pay him to say
No,
that.
I'm not. That's not a paid. That's just a happy client sitting in the
it.
space you did. So,
well, it was a pleasure working with you guys, and it makes a difference for us on the other side too. When the client understands the value of what we bring to a project, that makes a huge difference, and the level of trust that we had in each other.
yep.
I trusted you to know what was best for your client and what you needed for your employees and the team.
I have a vision
and you
for
trusted
it.
me.
I
You
have a
did.
vision, so
You
I
had vision.
completely trusted them to execute on that. And there was an immense amount of study on the front end of what we liked, what we wanted, how it already looked, what we already had, what we possessed that could be used.
Yes.
And immense. So you guys did what we call discovery, a lot of discovery.
We do a lot of discovery. You call it discovery, we call it programming, and it's all the same.
Same thing.
And absolutely, I think that's one of the things that does set us apart. We love to do the discovery, the programming piece of it, because if we don't know you, we can't really design for you. And we feel like we got to know what your business is all about. We need to know how everybody works, how they work together, what the workflow process looks like.
Yep.
And then understanding how you're using the space. I mean, that's all part of it, but that's not the only piece of it.
Well, can I run with that a little bit?
Yes.
This is a key theme. So our clients, when they hire us, they tend to be ultra high net worth. They tend to be business owners, almost exclusively now business owners, and they have a lot on their plate. They're trying to take care of their employees, and the business owners we work with all genuinely care about their teams. We want to get them better health care, better outcomes, better everything. But, and in order to do that, they've got to feel safe with me and my team. They have to feel safe. They have to feel like it's familial. They have to feel like they're at home.
Absolutely.
So this space is, I don't like the word loungy because that implies like you're up at 1 a.m. in New York City, but it's home. It has a
It's
very,
very approachable.
very approachable. So
It
yeah, we have
just,
our functional office space, but we have multiple little lounges.
yeah, I think it's great. And it's a residential vibe,
Yes.
and I think that's a really important thing, even today, post COVID, post all of the things that we've been through, something we used to preach for years. And then finally, when everybody went home for a couple of years, you come back to the office and you realize I had 5 different options at home. I could stand at my kitchen bar, I could sit at my dining room table,
Oh, good
I
point.
can lounge in my living room,
Yeah.
I could go sit in my bed,
I can have my
Netflix and
fuzzy
spend,
bunny
I
slippers
can have
on.
my slippers on. So when
Yep.
I come back to the office, I don't want to feel like I'm back in the same two spaces, right, that
Yep.
you're in. So, what we have for you, banquette I'm looking at over here
Yeah.
that you can sit in. There's a couch setting, there's this chair setting, there is a couple of formal conference rooms,
Yep.
which are appropriate when
Yep.
needed. So I love that you let us create all of these differently appointed spaces.
Yep.
And then you came in and put your personal touch on it too. I love that. And we did bring over a lot of your existing things. I think it all blended really nicely with the new pieces that we
Yep.
got. And just to give you just the final touch, we just got the last few things in last week, didn't we?
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
yay.
Yep.
So before we talk a little bit more about the space and some other things, I want to just touch on your book.
Yep.
You have this very intriguing book called Dead Cats and Wealth Advisors. We have a copy of it here.
And let me make sure the whole Dead Cats
Thank
and
you.
Wealth Advisors, exposing the myths and lies of the wealth management industry.
So that's the subtitle too.
And you notice the cover. I remember I said I'm artistic. I designed the cover.
And it's got the Pinocchio vibes happening here.
And the two-faced.
Yes,
Notice the two-faced. So
yes.
it's meant to convey. How did it come to be? Number one, no cats were harmed in the writing of the book. Let me be very
I
clear.
appreciate that.
Cat lovers. But it wasn't old Pennsylvania Dutch saying where my grandmother would say, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting something bad. It was just, it meant that there's something in close proximity. And she would say like a lawyer or like an insurance agent. So I just used it to encompass my industry.
I love it. So tell us about it for a minute. What inspired it and what's the message in a nutshell that you're trying to convey here?
Twofold. We actually put a lot of our toolbox in there. So a lot of the tools that we use for these business owners are in there.
Okay.
So number one, it is first and foremost meant for business owners to empower them.
So you're educating
Absolutely.
them. Yes, that's great.
And elevating. But two, it meant to be a bit of a takedown of the industry. There's a concept that we call the circle of vultures. So the wealthier someone gets, the target, they become a bigger target. The target on their back gets larger. And so sadly, we've learned the circle of vultures comes from inside the fort or outside of the fort. Inside the fort, sadly, is a family member, a golf buddy. It might be a sister who, oh, you have a bunch of wealth now, buy me a house. Or a golf buddy who says, even though it's COVID and you have a manufacturing business, you should put $1.3 million into my real estate deal. Clearly wasn't in the client's interest, so we have to protect that. But then the vultures in my industry, as soon as someone sells a business, they weren't there for the hundreds of hours of work up front to do the tax planning, the exit planning, the life transition counselor. Yes, we actually have life transition counselors
That's great.
on our team. So months or years ahead, they can start counseling. They're not there for that, but they want those assets under management the minute the business.
Yeah.
So it's meant to empower, elevate business owners and also be a warning.
Okay. I love that.
And again, I was just ticked. I get tired. I'm a bit competitive too. I don't like seeing folks that either are outright taking advantage of their clients or simply not doing high quality work. I don't like to see them win.
Yeah.
That's a deep, deep principle for me.
Well, and you have high integrity, so you don't want to see other people fall into those traps. And it also gives your industry a bad name, right? So you kind of have to, you're protecting those who are honest.
If they don't
those
deserve
who
it, they'll
are-
have no problem. If they deserve it, they can be my hater. Right?
That's right.
Okay.
I love it. So has writing the book changed the kinds of clients or conversations you attract today then? Because you are disrupting the industry. And
I'm trying.
what does that do?
It actually has. It's one of the biggest cases was a CPA. A key part of our firm's business is built around partnering with CPAs. They have the clients here. They often are the most trusted advisor in the high net worth business owner's life. And so we had a CPA, very respected, very prominent, I think, who really wasn't too fond of wealth advisors, actually confessed to me, I don't like my own, read my book, and actually met with me for lunch and said, that's who I want to deal with.
I love it.
So it was transformative in that way. And generally, it's just a way. I also talk about the potholes of my life in there. I arrived at wealth management and family office service. I didn't go to college. I made very, very bad life decisions. We moved from a small farm town in Pennsylvania to Los Angeles when I was 14.
Ooh, that's a big
And so I
change.
had about a 7-year period where I teach my son I made very bad life decisions. And I was briefly homeless, not shopping cart homeless, but like sleeping on park benches or in my car, homeless, couch surfing when I could.
Wow.
And so the opportunity came to be the bad guy. I was actually the life insurance salesman,
Oh.
right? So I know how that mind works. I know how that crack. And it was a savior to me, right? It helped
Right.
save me. It gave me an opportunity. But after about 4 or 5 years of that, I was like, no, this is not, everybody was a nail and I was a hammer,
Oh.
right? You just want to, everybody needs this product. So this has been one hell of an evolution, like a 36-year evolution. I also had to get over imposter syndrome. I am not a technical wonky guy. I'm not a math nerd, but so I'll sum that up this way. I am the maestro, but I only play one instrument, but I need the whole orchestra.
Right.
So I'm very cognizant of having other orchestra members. So the book is very elevating in that sense. It opens a conversation where one might not have existed.
Love that. I mean, I think that's really valuable. Not only are you educating the client or your potential clients, but they know so much about you before they even engage with you.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So that allows them to
I
have
was
that comfort
scared. I
level.
was scared, to be honest. Like, are they
Yeah,
going to judge me? And they are,
they are.
but mostly it's positive
Well, that's
because I'm
good.
transparent.
I think that most people want to know that you're an actual human being also, right? That you went through hard times, that you too might be suffering from imposter syndrome every now and again. And I
Hmm.
think the more that they feel like they can connect with that, it's not sharing all the dirt in your life just to share.
Mm-mm.
That's not the intent, but to share to show that that was just a piece of what made you who you are, right? And
Yep.
that that was just a fundamental piece of your story and what prompted you to really grow and evolve beyond that, right?
Yep.
Which is awesome. And I think today more than ever, people just need to know more truth. They just need, to be real. And they want to feel that authenticity with you.
Yep.
And I think that builds. I think it's doing what you want it to do.
Those are
You want it to
actually
build trust for you.
those are actually our company values. We call it the face of Questmont: family, authenticity, accountability, creativity, and empowerment.
Those are
We
amazing.
live by those.
And I can tell they're not just words.
No, no,
I appreciate that.
that's from the heart.
So we are sitting here in this office that we just designed together.
Yeah.
And when you envision this space, what did you want it to feel like for your clients and your team and yourself? We touched on it a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about what you shared with me when we first started up and how that played out through the process of designing and building.
So the first thing that comes to mind is safety. When a client, particularly, or a CPA partner, or someone is here, they need to feel at home and safe,
Mm-hmm.
familial. But in order to be authentic, it also had to be more like restoration hardware. That's me and my wife. That is our taste. So it had to be us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it had to be this modern version of a hearth, home and hearth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where anyone who comes here is going to go, wow, they thought of every square inch. Because if you think about it, when we work with a family, if they have cancer, we need to know. If they have a drug addicted child, we must know. If they have a gold digging stepchild, we have to know, right? We have to. So it's very personal. You kind of have to undress in front of us. So when they're here, they have to A, feel safe, and B, know that we won't miss a thing. So this
That's a good
space is
point.
representative. Like if a picture is hanging crooked, I'll notice.
Well, yeah, I
It'll
was
get
fixing
fixed.
one earlier.
Yeah, right. You just
Yes, I
see,
can't help
amen.
it. I can't help it.
If it's worth
This one
doing,
is this one.
if it's worth doing, it's worth doing
It's
well.
worth doing well, exactly. Yeah, and it was fun putting that together for you. And I love the humility in it all as well. I mean, it was in the sense of the design. So you wanted to be very nice. You wanted to show that you had a quality level,
Yep.
but it was a very thoughtful and deliberate way in which we did that. It wasn't just buy this for the sake of buying it.
Mm-mm.
We were very careful to think about the budget and how that was going to be played out and what stayed and what went. It wasn't just get rid of everything because we have a new office. It's, what made sense to keep. And
Yep.
so that goes a long way because it is articulated very nicely, but also it doesn't feel ostentatious or
No.
unapproachable, right? It feels very warm and at home, like you said.
I hadn't thought of this, but it is intentional. We don't want gold lame or we don't want ostentatious. And
Right.
yet, so we do strike a fine line between we have to show that we're firm and successful and being very judicious with the client's money.
Yes.
And I think together we struck. And can I tell our audience that they
Yes.
did a great job when we said, no, you use Wayfair for that product or whatever. They did. So some of the pieces are expensive signature pieces,
Hmm.
but a lot of it was very cost conscious.
Very cost conscious, not cheap.
No,
I mean, let's face
nope.
it, it also has to, it has to be a good
Fit. Yep.
value, has to be a good fit, and it has to last. This isn't a temporary space. So
Yes.
I think we did strike a very nice balance in
Yes.
all of that. And it was
By
fun.
the way, we're going to do it justice. We're having our open house here soon,
Yeah.
and we're going to have some secret until today entertainment.
Oh, is it
So
still secret or can you share?
I'll share for you.
Okay. This might
So
not air until after that party
that's
anyway.
fine.
So,
Well, it will be people will be greeted with a glass of champagne
uh-huh.
and the sounds of an electric violinist and cellist playing classical Christmas tunes, holiday tunes. And then the finale will be two of my buddies who were the lead singer and lead guitarist for the band Chicago
Oh,
doing a real
fun.
acoustic riff for us at the end.
Oh, well, then I'm coming towards the end
Damn
then.
straight. Right? Come
Absolutely.
after 5 o'clock, definitely.
That sounds fun. The violin and cellist, that sounds amazing. That is
Yep.
so up my alley. I am excited about that.
Yep.
And so this isn't just where business happens,
Oh
just to
no.
kind of bring that full circle. You have your open house coming up, which is going to be, I think, a very
Fun.
elegant party and
Yep.
fun. But you meet people here about, like you said, family legacy, wealth, as you put it, undressing in front of you, which, it probably feels that way to a lot of people. And so why do you think we've already kind of come around on this, but why do you think that the space matters in that way? Is there anything else that you can share that kind of just drives that home in such a
Yep.
way that they do feel the most connection with you and feel like they can have those conversations that are hard?
25 years ago, 23 years ago, I went through my second divorce. When I say I've been through ups and downs, and so I was searching. I felt like a loser and I felt lost. And I realized I had a lot of bad people in my life, right? Not necessarily my ex, but just people who were preying on me a bit. And so I was listening to a tape by Deepak Chopra, and he pointed out something that's scientific, which he calls second attention. So your body is constantly bringing in information that you're unaware that it's bringing in.
Yes. Fascinating.
So this is first attention, right? Your eyes, ears, whatnot, but second attention. So it's important that when people are here, physically here, the message they're getting is, again, the same message, but they're getting it through their second attention.
Right.
It's relaxing them just by the presence of being in the space.
It's just what's happening in the background,
Right.
not just what's happening in the important conference room or the
Right.
space that you're in, right?
You notice it's
Yeah.
pretty calm and quiet, and that's, there's a little bit of hustle and bustle, but for the most part, we have to get them through stressful times.
Yeah.
So we have to be that calming voice in the storm. And so the space has to be congruent with that ethos.
It is.
And it
It
is.
feels that way.
Feels to
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna have to edit much of the sound because it's so great. So outside these walls, you're also known in the broader business community. So this goes to the other side of create a place, right? It's not just the spaces, it's also how you create community. So beyond just running a successful firm, what does that look like to you showing up as a business leader in this community and in this current environment that
Can
we're
I
in?
make a confession?
Absolutely.
Spent most of my business life in central Pennsylvania, and that has some definite traits, hard work, loyalty, things like that. It's not a very open-minded, creative area. So Sonia and I, quite frankly, never really felt much community there.
Okay.
We're rather blown away the last 6 years. It's been 6 years at how the business community is open, accessible for the most part, much more than I always tell people in the Tampa Bay area, business people, don't take this for granted.
No.
Foster this. And so, number one, I just want to say we genuinely appreciate, we go to functions and we don't have to seek out friends to talk to, they find us. And we're a little overwhelmed by that, like, wow. So I feel a very powerful responsibility to protect that,
Yeah.
right? I would love it 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now that this firm and the Ranker family, my son, who will probably never be in this business because he's literally a rocket scientist studying to be a rocket scientist, so he'll probably never be in daddy's business or mommy's business.
He's
Wouldn't
going to need mommy and daddy's
He's going to
business,
need
though.
mommy, right? But wouldn't it be neat if he just were proud that his family had done this thing?
Yeah.
and because it was still thought of well in the community. So everything we do has an eye to that. We're aware that we too are a bit on stage. We're
Sure.
getting more known. And so we just are happy to be here. Am I a leader? I guess I am, right? So I would say I've learned more leadership lessons in the last 6 years than I've given.
Well, being a good leader is also, teaching others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think you've done a great job with your team. Everybody that I have met on this team has been phenomenal, and they definitely fit in with your
Thank
ethos.
you.
And I love that.
We love them.
But I am out there too in the business community where you are. And so I love that when we are at events together, we had talk in the same circles, and you're not afraid to introduce me,
Oh
to
no,
new
I'm trying to
friends,
like
and
openly like.
you're like, here, meet
Well,
Kristina.
keep in mind
So,
we've had a rather sizable building before in Pennsylvania, so we had 2 or 3 locations there. So I've been through this before. At my point, this was probably the 5th or 6th time that I've either bought and or leased an office.
mhm.
And so your process and your results are 1,000 times better than anything we felt. So I don't say that this is not BS.
Oh, I like 1,000.
Yeah,
That's really good.
this is literally we have experience.
Yes.
So we know
This was not your first
it's
rodeo.
not my first rodeo.
Right.
So when I openly, unabashedly promote you, I actually know what I'm doing. And I
I
feel
appreciate that.
I feel confident that if you work with someone I know, they're going to come back and thank me.
Yeah.
So
We
anyway,
will not let you down.
I couldn't, sorry, I'm gushing, but
I appreciate that. I am blushing. If you're watching this, you'll see
I
me
was
blushing.
trying.
So let's talk about guiding others through big decisions. When your clients are weighing where to invest, growth, people, real estate, and these are leaders, hopefully, a lot of this audience is also leadership teams and
Yep.
people who are building culture, building wealth, looking at those things. How do you help them focus on what's truly meaningful versus what just looks impressive?
So the core of it is we have a concept called it's the planning, stupid. Like this wouldn't have come to be without really good planning. Is that safe to say?
Oh, absolutely.
I had the vision, you shared the vision, but you executed the plan. I didn't,
Mhm.
right? But you did it. I watched. So we have this ethos. We actually did a dinner in Sarasota for a bunch of families a few months ago, and we called it "It's the Planning, Stupid." And I know that's a little coarse, rude, but I'm intentionally poking business owners
Mhm.
because I've seen how badly they get treated when they don't have the planning nailed.
Yeah,
And so if you don't do the planning, someone you love will pay the price.
this is true.
So believe it or not, if you've done the planning, when the big ugly moments come, you're just better off,
Yes.
right? So if you've planned, you're better, and the pain is half or less. The other thing we do is it comes to actual investing. We actually have a part of our service which is called behavioral investment counseling.
What
So
is
we
that all about?
well, markets are crazy. They go up, they go down, but for the most part, they go up.
Right.
And there are fundamental economic reasons. I won't bore you with them today, but for example, the stock market, I hate that term. It's not the stock market. It's actually a market where you buy shares of businesses.
Mhm.
Stock is an old term from 100 years ago. It just means the paper that proves you bought those shares. But if I own shares of paper companies, tech companies, food companies, energy companies, they're not going anywhere.
Right, right.
They're not going anywhere. The people don't understand that. Even very wealthy people
Hmm.
don't get that. So we start with a good plan, and then we start with this counseling from the get-go. So when we onboard a family, we actually put them through a series of lifeboat drills
Okay.
so that when a great recession happens or when something bad happens, they know where all of the rafts are.
Give me an example of that. What's a lifeboat drill look like?
It's pretty simple. And then, so we do, some of what we do is pretty sophisticated, so it goes beyond just this piece.
Mm-hmm.
But to the extent that clients need to or should or have invested in the public markets, give an example. Earlier this year, this is a great example. When Trump introduced the tariffs, we had the tariff tantrum.
Right.
And the market went down very quickly by 20-some% or so. I don't know if you saw it, but I put out a Chicken Little video.
Yes, I did.
And I put out this video. Within a week, I had the video produced and out there, and it said, Chicken Little, what's happening? The sky is falling, the sky is falling. And then I come on the screen, trash a bunch of wine bottles, chug a beer, and said, stop this bullshit. The sky is not falling. Right? And so it's our way of having a little comedic
Yes.
time. But then I gave a bunch of facts.
Right.
We're actually in pretty good shape. The companies are pretty good shape. Their balance sheets are pretty good. This is kind of normal. Here we sit, 8-9 months later, the market's up 30%.
Yeah.
So that's just our irreverent way of saying, don't be silly. The world isn't ending,
Don't be so-
right? So, but we start that from the day we onboard them.
Oh, I love that. And that's, I guess most people don't always think about that when you're getting an investment team or
Yep.
somebody together like that, right? But there's so much emotion involved with it too, and emotional intelligence and all that goes with that, that I love that you're addressing that right off the bat, because that
Oh, yeah.
is super important to how
And that's just me.
know.
I've been doing this for 36 years. So that's me just, like I was in the business, I'm a little sad to say now, in 1987 when the stock market went down 23% in one day. So that, and then we had in 1991, we had a savings and loan and banking or real estate debacle. I was in the industry then. So I've been through it. And so I just have learned over the years that if you plan for it, like we make sure our clients have great cash reserves or great cash flow.
Right.
So that in fact, if there's some sort of recession, our clients are the ones able to buy when there's blood in the streets. But that takes planning
Ahead of time.
ahead of time.
Yes. Before the flood comes, right?
Yeah.
So you did touch on this a little bit ahead of the question, but what do you hope this space, this place, this firm continues to represent for years to come? And you did.
So
You
this
did
is
start
a
to touch
little
on
bit of
that,
a fun answer, but I hope this space represents it's tiny for our needs in 10 years. How about that?
Yeah.
So that we've outgrown this physical space and have to do something else. But nothing different. That we may have to touch it up in 5 years.
Sure.
Right. So we might need you again.
Right. Or you
because
might
it
have to
can't get
expand.
right.
The rest of
And,
the
and right
floor.
there, we've built it out so there's room for us to expand internally. Might need to freshen it up depending on what colors are or styles. But I would still want it to represent a little bit. I don't know that the word's cutting edge, but a little bit modern,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not dated, but still familial, warm, homey. Same themes.
It's a very timeless style that we created. It's eclectic, which really is lots of different styles kind of mixed together, which I think makes it even more relevant throughout the years. And then you did touch on beyond the space. What does that legacy look like for you?
We would want to be known for having empowered everyone who touched it. Owners, obviously, but set that aside. Suppliers, definitely the clients first and foremost.
Yeah.
But the team as well. You have to have, you don't have to have, we want to have a place where people can grow, even if it means they should leave. Like if someone had a really good opportunity but had been here 10 years, but it was a really good opportunity, I would want to be the guy hugging them on the way out the door. So that I would want the legacy to be, and by the way, I intend to still be here in 4 years. Just let's be clear, right? That's my goal. But I would want the legacy to be that that there was this general feeling that everyone who touched it or was touched by it had a warm experience.
Yeah.
And that in the end, that Questmont gave more to the human race and the planet than it took.
That is an awesome goal. And I love what you mentioned about the team too. I do think that one of the best traits of a leader is knowing what's best for their people, not just within the company, but if, like you said, if it looks like that's without the company or moving on, I think that is one of the best things you can do for both of you, right?
We had it
set you up
happen.
for success.
Kristina, 3 years ago, we had a person we hired as an executive assistant. If she hears this, she'll know who I'm talking about. And at that point, roots were really in Pennsylvania, most of our team, so we weren't building this out. So it was really just 4 of us at the Tampa office. So it was small, and she had a good package, good benefits, and didn't fit well. We would have loved her to stay, but she was having some difficulties with the child at school and needed to spend a lot of time with that child. And her old employer made a hell of an offer where she could work from home.
Oh, okay.
I hugged her on the way out the door. I was like, you go, dear. Like, I can't, like, we couldn't compete with that.
Yeah.
But we sure as hell would never not want that for her.
Prevent that.
It was exactly what she needed in her life at that time.
No.
And so we're still friendly.
Which is great.
Like I see her posting neat stuff about us online. I'm like, okay. But that was like, of course, why. And it hurt because we were just building our team.
Yeah.
So it was like 1/4 of a small team at the time.
Big impact.
But it was good for her.
Good. And you never know what full circle looks like for that years down the road if
Right.
things change. And so I think it's always important to set people up for success no matter what.
Karma's a bitch. Up and down.
Can be. Yes. Can be amazing
I try
too.
to stay in its upward flow if I can.
The upward. So anything else that you want to share today? Maybe that's some thoughts that you had that we just didn't touch on, or any last advice that you want to give leadership wise? Is there anything from a leadership standpoint that people might underestimate or not realize about leadership, or just anything that you'd like to leave
Anything
with
that
us?
pops into my mind that seems worth sharing is imposter syndrome.
Okay.
As a guy who came into this industry without any of the finance bro credentials, I watch my team nerd out and they look at these advanced trusts and asset purchase agreements and all this advanced. I want to jump off a bridge without water, right? I'm creative, I'm entrepreneurial, but I know that's important, but I don't do it. So
Yeah.
I've had probably a 30-year battle with the imposter syndrome. One of the things I did do is somebody asked me 6 months ago, what is the thing you're the best in the world at? I was like, ooh, that's a humbling. Can I even answer that?
That's a good question.
Here's what popped out of me, and it relates to that 30 years of imposter syndrome. What popped out of me was, I'm the best in the world at taking my insecurities, my fears, and my mistakes and turning them into powerful tools for others.
That's a beautiful strength.
So I guess the takeaway would be that imposter syndrome is normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I have gotten largely over it. I
Good.
feel pretty much in my stride these days. I've become aware of, like I say, I'm the maestro.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play the flute and the violin and the drums and the trombone at the same time.
You cannot.
So I think a lot of us in the business world have these high aspirations, but we live in the gap, not the gain. Like we forget how far we've come.
Yeah. I see that a lot. I see that a lot in the leadership teams that I work with. It's interesting, and you feel like the imposter syndrome, or you feel like you should be able to do everything. And even I come up with that. I mean, imposter syndrome is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
And I had a conversation not
And
too
yet,
long
look at
ago.
the damn results you get.
Well,
There.
thank you. But it, like, similar to Maestro, I had this conversation. It was actually with a business coach, and she said, KY, you're a curator. And I said, okay, I like that word, because I was sharing with her, I'm like, I am a jack of all trades, master of none. It's this whole thing that I don't do this anymore. I don't do that anymore. I'm not actively necessarily designing all the time anymore. I'm doing all of these things, but I know just enough about it,
Yep.
to be able to pull it together. And
Yep.
as our company, as Angela and I created for the company, we realized years and years ago, and that's why we went from York Davis to CREATE+CO, because we are so much more than the sum of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, our clients trust us, like you. They trust us to put together this, what we call the bubble, which is the circle of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to do every piece of it. We know our design. We can nail that. We know the architecture. We can nail that. And there's so many other things that we can do, but why do we need to do that? Why do we need to put ourselves out there for all of those other things when we have these amazing consultants all over that do the IT, the technology, they do the marketing, the branding, all of the specialists. And so we like to, and I love that's a parallel, just like you guys, you help surround the client with that circle of professionals that are experts in what they do. And that's so much more important than us showing up and claiming to do it all, right? I think that's so much more of a value to the client than us just trying to take it all on ourselves. And we're just transparent in that way. No, we're not the experts in that. But damn right, we know enough about it that we're going to make sure that person's doing it right.
Right.
And we're going to bring in the person that we know you can trust for that piece of it also.
You just reminded me of something I used to say. Do I really need to know the alloy and the pipes, or just that it gets the water to the sink?
Yes.
Like, right. You don't but you could beat yourself up because I don't know how that pipe is made. You don't really need to know how that pipe is made, right? You just need to know, I have a really good plumber. Is he going to bring, or is she going to bring the right quality and get it done?
Yes.
It's kind of silly, but we do it.
We do.
Beat ourselves up.
We do. And that's part of the imposter syndrome. And I think that's part of also being a good leader and finding trust with your clients, is being able to also show that, no, I don't know how to do that, or I will get back to you with the answer to that question, instead of always trying to fill the gaps like we were talking about earlier. Let's just take a beat. Just give me a minute.
You just brought a big smile to my face, because one of my mentors 20 years ago said, Taylor, you're going to get asked questions you don't know the answer to, because it's about economics or tax. You can't know it all.
Sure.
And he said, here's what you say, knucklehead. Kristina, I don't know the answer to that, but I will move heaven and earth and get back to you as quickly as possible with the right answer.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, I gotcha. I don't say it quite that dramatically, but like, I don't know. I'll find out. I got a great team.
I know.
You should see my Rolodex.
Yeah, exactly. You should see my Rolodex. Wow, that dates us.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
I know it. But that was great. I really appreciate you having me here in the space
Thank you.
and having this conversation.
We have to have a touch of champagne to wrap up.
We can do that.
Just a touch. Touch. Can we take a break?
We can toast to that. Yes, we can.
Here we go. Ah, I love that sound.
It is a satisfying sound.
That's a holiday sound too, is it not?
It is.
All right, here's to CREATE & CO.
Here's to Questmont.
Hey friends, if you enjoyed today's episode, please join in the conversation at CREATE+CO Podcast on LinkedIn or Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe. We're so glad you tuned in to Create a Place and look forward to seeing you next time.